Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. Today in this tutorial, we are going to discuss on loader used in UI Semantic. Stay tuned. Now, a loader is used to tell users to wait until an activity is complete. And in that respect, the first thing that we did here, we had created a very separate container as been seen in our previous tutorials. We had created our grid, we had created a row, and inside we had created a column. Now this is the part that I will be copying several times because I wish to keep things separated. So that is why I will be using some more rows right over here. Okay, we have created these 5 rows and each row has a single column into it. Now the very first thing that we need to keep in our mind that whenever we are about to use loaders in UI Semantic, we need to place it inside an active class or inside an active dimmer class. Now a dimmer, practically its purpose is to hide distraction in an order to focus on some definite content inside your project. So in that particular case, if you wish to keep on with loaders, then you need to place them inside this kind of classes, this either within this active class or within this active dimmer class, both. Now in the first case, we will be creating an UI segment class. Inside this UI segment class, as we had mentioned earlier, that we need to create an UI active class, and we will be using this dimmer class along with, and as mentioned, we will be using this loader class within. So we had created it, and another thing inside this UI segment class, we will be using another paragraph tag in an order to have some proper display along with. We'll be copying it right over here, pasting it right over here. So this is the thing. First of all, press Ctrl S, head back to your project and reload. And you can see that immediately the active loader is practically on. Now, for sake of experiment, let's remove this active class and this dimmer class. So we won't be using any kind of active dimmer along with it, and we don't have a necessity of this. Leave element 2, press Ctrl S, head back and reload, and you can see that by default the loader practically stays hidden unless it is used within an active or a dimmer class. So this is what we need to know. So let's reset everything that we have done. This is the active dimmer class. Press Ctrl S, reload, and you can see that immediately whenever we turned the active dimmer classes on into our project and inside of it we had kept our loader, immediately each and everything turns into action. The loader is now clearly visible into our project and everything is fine and okay. So in an order to activate a loader and in an order to have a proper display of it into our project, we need to keep this loader class within an active class or within an active and a dimmer class both. In the next case, first of all, in this UI loader class, we will be adding a text loader class, and here we will be now mentioning the loader with a text. So all we had done, we had practically added a text class into the loader class that we used previously. Now if we head back to our project and reload, we can see that a loader with a text element is practically being visible into our project. This is the second thing. In the next case, let's use another column that we had created earlier, and here we are practically about to invert our loader. That means we will be having separate color of this loader and separate color for this dimmer right over here. So in that particular case, all we need to do, we need to add this inverted class into the demarc class that we had created earlier. Now if we press Ctrl S and if we now head back to our project and reload, we can see that an inverted demarc is practically being created, where the loader has some separate color and all the text element inside it has some separate color. Now we are free to use the text loader in this particular case too. Let's have this will be the text element inside this loader class. So all we had done, we had created this thing right over here. Now if we reload, we can see that the text loader is practically working. If we do not use this demarc class along with the active class, what will be the result? So let's check it out. Let's copy paste everything that we had done earlier, and in this particular case, let's remove this demarc class. Let's use this loader class right over here, and we are practically removing the div that we had created earlier, and this is the div element. So we had placed it all in the same place. Now let's press Ctrl S and head back to our project, and we can see that practically the loader stuff is working, but we cannot have a proper visibility of the loader class as we haven't used the demarc class to dim the text element that we had used in this particular case. Now in the last case, there are many classes that can be used. Let's copy this entire row element. Now here all we are going to do, we will be using this class intermediate loader, and we are mentioning here that this file is processing. Now if we head back and reload, we can see that this will be the result. Sorry, we had missed this text class. We need to mention it. Now we can see that another text class is practically being loaded here. This one is known as intermediate class, and this special class is used in case when the file processing is taking too long to be loaded into our project. Now in the last case, we may vary the size of these loader elements. So in an order to do that, first of all, let's paste it over here, and in the first place we will be using this tiny loader. First of all, let's copy this whole thing, and we will be using it, pasting it 5 more times. In the next case, we will be using this mini loader. Next, we will be using the small loader, and we will be changing this tiny class to large, not large actually, to medium loader, and in the final case we will be using this massive loader, or we may make usage of this huge loader class. So all we did practically, instead of this tiny class that we had used earlier, we are now using this mini class, we are now using the small, the medium, and instead of this large class, we are practically using this huge loader right over here. So what will be the result? Let's press Ctrl S and head back to our project, and we can see that there comes various loader sizes into our project. There it goes. In case if we wish to have a text loader inside, we may make usage of this text class, and we may write something here like this is the tiny. Similar fashion, use this text class here. This is the mini. Next we'll be using this small, and here we will be adding this text class again, and we will be adding this word to it. This is the medium. There it goes. So we will be using this text class right over here, and in the last case we will be using this text and we will be naming it as huge. So now if we press Ctrl S and reload, we can see that this will be the result. So this is the tiny, next comes the mini, the small, the medium, and the huge loader. So that's it for today's tutorial. Hope you guys have liked this tutorial. If you guys have liked this tutorial, then do not hesitate to hit that red subscribe button down below. Hope to see you guys in our next tutorial. Till then, bye.